Kasama ko dito si Hyron at kami uli ang magiging casters nyo for Game 3 of today's stream. And Game 3 will be between Exos, Haribons, and Archangels Blue from PLM and HAU respectively. And this is looking to be quite the good game considering that Archangels Blue, I'm not sure if may verified source ba ako, but they are saying that Archangels Blue is the same strength of their main team, Archangels na Valiant Archangels na nakita natin from last game, and sometimes they even beat their main team. So this is a very strong team again coming in from Holy Angel Universities. Meanwhile, for Exos Haribons, this is one of the newer teams that we have for National Campus Open, again powered by Globe. And I just have to say that Exos Haribons, wala pa tayo masyadong alam about them.
We don't have a lot of history to work with in terms of these players, but the fact that they are here in the National Campus Open from AcadArena, that shows that they've already fought their way through qualifiers, fought for their spot here, and they are vying for that spot, for that privilege to represent the Philippines in IEF 2020. And that is part of their goals, their dreams as players, and they are fighting it out here right now with Archangels Blue from Holy Angel University. So we're gonna have to see if this sister team, this Archangels Blue team from HAU, will they show the same kind of performance as their main team, Valiant Esports? And I'm wondering if they're on the same power level. What are the differences then in terms of how they play, their strategy? That's what's going to be interesting to me looking into Archangels Blue. As for the Exos Haribons from PLM, it's going to be a question of, can they survive? They've fought through qualifiers. Can they survive now in the big boy room?
Yeah, I'm excited to see on how Haribons will play inside the league as well. This is the first time from a long time na makakakita tayo ng team from PLM. And I remember myself, because back when I was still playing for UST, my first ever game in collegiate esports was against PLM. And that time, they were called the Knights. And that was the first game of Teletigers as well, back when I was still playing in UST. So I have fond memories going up against PLM back in the day. And for now, PLM, no longer the Knights, now called the Haribons, they are entering the new era of campus esports. National Campus Open National Campus Open 2020 for League of Legends. And I'm excited to see on how well they improved throughout the years. Yeah. It's been under the radar for quite a long time na rin. And this is the first time na makikita natin that they're ascending to this level of competition with their official hashtag as well, hashtag Ascend Haribons. I really love that hashtag. It just goes to show that they're going up in campus esports.
Mm-hmm. And that's their goal, right? To go above and beyond all expectations. We're going to have to see if this will be the case in this game, because this first game for these teams in this tournament. It's going to be the first impression that they're going to give for the rest of our viewers to the rest of the teams as well. So they're going to have to brush up and make sure that their homework is on point here, that preparations are ready at this point. And as we load onto the drafting phase here, an immediate Galio ban here against Archangels Blue.
Yeah. Galio, one of the best mid laners, I would say, paired with a very aggressive jungler or maybe someone who could dive into the back line, is a really good way to empower that Galio. So no question on that ban. But for the next ban of Archangels Blue, though, that's going to be a NCO ban. We don't see that very often. Feel like this is more of a target ban against Haribons, considering that NCO isn't really one of the best right now in the current meta. It looks like Haribons will be going for meta bans with the Galio and Lucian.
Yeah, and these are like top bans here, even for Archangels Blue. This Nidalee ban, despite the adjustments in the previous patches, this Nidalee ban is still very, very popular here. And I guess this could just be a blanket ban here from Haribons, just get the top tiers out of the way. That could mean that they just don't want to deal with these. They just don't want to deal with these meta picks. It could also mean that they might not have done all of their homework and just going straight for the powerful picks here. But we're gonna have to see how this all plays out. An immediate pickup on that Shen here as Archangels Blue responds with Hecarim.
Yeah, Shen, one of the, let's say, S or A tier champions in the top lane right now, counters a lot of meta champions, that's for sure. Usually we see Camille, Renekton, and a lot of AD champions in the top lane, and Shen is one big counter to those champions. And I just have to say that the Shen as well isn't just for top lane. Could also be a flex pick, not only in the bottom lane support, but also the jungle.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's just how flexible of a pick that is. Though, no matter what position it is, it requires a lot of communication to make it work. Stand United is such a good tool for map presence, but you need a lot of coordination and communication to make that work. But Archangels Blue bring it out already, a big combo. Wild Growth onto the Hecarim ult is going to be huge coming into these team fights for Archangels Blue, while Exos Haribons just goes for a very hotly contested jungler, Graves.
Graves, one of the best junglers right now, apart from the Nidalee and Lilia that got banned. The clear speed and safety that this Graves gives to the jungler of any team is just a bit too good to be true, if you're asking me. Considering na hindi ka mahahawakan ng karamihan ng camps because of your shotgun passive, it just makes you this jungler that's immune to dying from camps. Because I have to admit, may mga nangyari na in collegiate. May mga nakita na tayong quite a few na muntikan mamatay sa camps. May mga nag-ulti, may nagkakaling sa Grump, may namamatay sa Raptor. So at least with the Graves, you're kind of immune to committing those errors. But let's go towards the second banning phase of this game. To cap off the first picking phase, Braum and Mordekaiser are picked for both sides.
So this is a lot of defensive picks here from the Haribons as well. But Graves, just to round off, give them a lot more punch later into the game. Archangels Blue, of course, bringing in Mordekaiser, just really brawls well with that Hecarim in the front line. Samira has been pretty much banned, I think, for the previous game, and it is quite a strong pick despite the adjustments. And as for this Twitch ban, so that must mean that someone in Archangels Blue plays the Twitch, either Tams or Glenn plays the Twitch extensively.
And Twitch is one of those champions that if played well,
Actually, Tams probably, since they have Hecarim. Yeah.
Played well, could carry a whole game. And I just have to say that Twitch is one of those champions so pag hindi nakalamang early, not really out there. Ang dali niyang mamatay and wala masyadong mobility spells, so it's a very dangerous AD carry to pick.
Okay.
That is there, but Vayne though.
That's a lot of confidence. It does have the support of the Lulu, but the rest of the comp doesn't have a lot of direct synergy with his Vayne. Of course, you can argue that, because Mordekaiser and Hecarim are so threatening, they can't just all in their resources on the Vayne here. But still, this does indicate to us that Tams is that kind of marksman player to pick up Vayne, to pick up Twitch. And that tells us a little bit of their characteristics. As for the Haribons, a lot of team fighting potential here. Glacial Fisher, Stand United, Shockwave, and you've got two marksmen backing that up. That's quite scary.
And let's look at the composition coming in from Exos Haribons. It's a very balanced team composition. You have your main engage tool coming in from the Orianna Shockwave, plus a secondary engage tool from the Glacial Fisher. If you need safety for your two AD carries, you have Stand United, and the CC is always there for them because almost all of them are auto-attack based. So concussive blows will be utilized here in this game very much. But for the side of Archangels Blue, what they do have in this game is, for one, they have better ultimates for fighting, just for fighting. They have better ultimates for fighting. They have the ultimate coming in from Hecarim, plus the ultimate from Yone as well, and that alone could secure more than 3 people. Plus, if ever may isang hyper threat that isn't building QSS, Chowking could literally go for takeout and Death Realm.
Yeah, exactly. And in this kind of composition where the main damage dealers are going to be Yaji and Fox, taking away that person with the Death Realm is already a huge dent in the Haribons DPS. Of course, they have the Oriana as well, but you don't really think Oriana when you try and say big when you try to think of big damage unless they're fed and get like a 5-man shockwave. They're not gonna be murdering people left and right. But
Yeah.
yeah, Archangels Blue here. They have a lot of potential when they actually get to scale. They have the Vayne, and actually their melees here, their front line, it's actually quite scary. A lot of damage all around.
Mm-hmm. And for our viewers over here, what do you think about the champions that you're seeing right now in your screens? And sino sa tingin yung may lamang in a certain phase of the game? Feel free to share your thoughts. Feel free to talk about the game in the comment section. Show us the support that you want for PLM or Archangels. Both teams are looking to be very promising in Game 3 of Week 1. But for now, don't forget to join our chat rally, #Globe Prepaid Virtual Hangouts, and make sure to join to get yung chance mo na manalo ng 300 pesos worth of RP. Paano ba sila makakasali doon, Hyro?
Yeah, so all you have to do is we have the stream live on FB. Just share that stream publicly, and then with the hashtag Globe Prepaid Virtual Hangouts and hashtag PLM win or hashtag HAU win. I'm not actually. I've not been informed yet of what the appropriate hashtag is for Archangels Blue, but either way, show your support to the schools, to the teams, and of course, you'll get the chance to win that 300 PHP worth of Garena shells, which is of course no longer. It's not been a 1-to-1 conversion for a while now, but either way, it's 300 pesos. It's enough to get the World's Pass. Maybe just get a 200 or 250 peso skin. Either way, let's grow our community. Let's encourage all of our friends, course mates, blockmates, etc., to join the stream and support their schools.
And again, it's hashtag Globe Prepaid Virtual Hangouts plus your corresponding winner of the team. So hashtag PLM win or hashtag HAU win. If mali yung hashtag HAU win, feel free to converse with our admin na nasa chat to ask ano ba ang tamang hashtag ng HAU or something like that. So for now though, Hyron, we're looking at both teams with quite the good composition. Minsan lang tayo makakita ng ganito na pareha yung draft, wala tayong question for both of it. Kumbaga, both teams have a clear advantage against the other. What do you think could happen early on in the game?
I think early on the game, Exos Haribons, they should be able to find the tools to get an early lead over Archangels Blue. Because if you look at how they're playing this, they have that Vayne super vulnerable in the bot side. Even with the support of the Lulu, it can concede a lot of ground if the jungler plays aggressively around bot side. And if the marksman here for Archangels Blue is the type to pick up stuff like Twitch or Vayne, then that's a weakness that you can exploit. That's a having a champion pool of Vayne, Twitch, and some other is not a weakness in itself, but that is something that indicates how your team plays, and they can exploit that.
Yeah. And let's just see kung ano ang na-research ng Haribons, because Haribons, especially if you're entering a tournament na considered kayo as underdogs or the new kids at the block na hindi talaga tournament favorites pa for now, you have to put that extra effort in finding out the weaknesses of the giants around you and capitalizing on those weaknesses. So for now, Haribons, I'm really excited on how they will exploit that weakness if ever they do find it for Archangels Blue. But for Archangels Blue, they're coming from the same organization of the finalists from last split's Alliance League Summer 2020 League of Legends. And that's something to talk about. That means that your environment, your organization is a very competitive one. And for Archangels Blue, having the opportunity to scrim against that finalist from last split is an opportunity that I'm for sure na kinapitalize nila. And the fact that there are rumors na natatalo nila yung Archangels Valiant Esports, yung talagang main team, means that they're no less, hindi mo sila pwedeng sabihin na team B sila na mas mahina if they beat the main team.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to see how this all plays out here. I'm also expecting quite a lot from Archangels Blue Misery with a 1 for 9.
1 for 9.
SMH. Okay. Let's drop that. But yeah, the Misery. If you've been following the AcadArena page, which you should at fb.com/AcadArenaPH, you must have seen Misery's quote with he didn't have a photo. He had like an anime picture to go.
Ay, siya pala yun. Kaya pala naaalala ko. Oh my God. I think your mic died, Hiron. Hiron died, or did I die? I'm not quite sure. But Hiron, I cannot hear you anymore, and I cannot see your webcam. But we are entering the third game of Week 1 between HAU Blue and PLM Haribons. This is looking to be a very exciting game, and HAU Misery is a very edgy player. Hiron, you are back. Welcome back to this
There we
game.
go.
Na intro naman na, and we are already inside the Summoner's Rift.
So let's get right into it. PLM Haribons versus HAU Archangels Blue, rather. And let's see what they've got in store. PLM is bunching up in his bot side, maybe trying to get a catch onto somebody, but HAU is not too aggressive just yet. They could potentially catch up to Zione if he's out of position, but he already got what he wanted, the ward onto Raptors. But PLM knows that HAU knows what's going to happen in Raptors, and they are paying it right now.
And warding early on is very important for both teams, knowing that one chunk of vital information on where the jungler is could dictate on how you would want to play your lane early on. Considering that both teams are starting on the bottom side of the map, I'm expecting that PLM and HAU's top laners will be playing it a little bit safer than intended in this top lane. Of course, trades will still happen, but you have to keep an eye on your river, making sure that you won't be ganked level 3.
That's really the point of contention there, is just to be aware of the opposite jungler's pathing. And as a laner, you don't want to be thinking about that. You've got other things to worry about, like making sure you're optimizing your trades. And that's why communication is super important. It's the jungler's job to keep track of the opposing jungler. And with both of them being high-speed clears, it's going to be really, really important to know where the opposing jungler is located, just so you can play a little bit more safely. Soul Unbound here for Geu, but he's still taking a lot of damage from Taboo.
It's Tabsu. So Tabsu on this Oriana, he has been poking out a Dayu or a Dayu. I'm not quite sure. I think it's Dayu in the mid lane na talagang kinakapitalize niya yung face rush, bonus movement speed, and range ng kanyang auto attack. So I'm loving it so far coming in from Tabsu. But for Dayu, he needs to stay a little bit careful. He does have that fleet footwork to sustain a little bit in lane.
And it is, with that Doran's Blade as well, it is helping him out there in that lane here. Taunt goes out on the top side. I think it's just going to be trades here, but with a pullback from Chowking, seems like it's just going to even out that trade here in this bot lane. This Vayne is having a decent time, not too behind, missed just one, no, actually quite equal in CS at this point. So it's just really the question of where the junglers are going to meet. Where are they going to strike next here? Because this top lane is getting quite heated in terms of the trades. This could be prime here for a Hecarim gank.
This is a very dangerous spot for the Shen. No Shadow Dash is available. He has to flash away after the shield expires, and he will be flashing to the hands of Yaji over here. The Graves damage is a little bit too real, and the first blood will go to the shotgun god of LOL, and that's the teleport bird. A double kill for the Graves. It's a little bit too late for that teleport, as Yone will be going up for none.
That Spirit's Refuge is huge. Blocked away those auto attacks, giving him enough time to get the backup from the Graves there. And HAU diving in deep. I think they had intel of where the Graves were, but they tried to finish off that kill onto that Shen, and it just bites them. Actually, no, they didn't have intel of where the Graves was, but that just means that they made that decision knowing, okay, we could get a shotgun in the face here, but it's going to be a fight in the mid lane. Tabsu getting harassed by the Soul Cleave. Soul Unbound is going to bring him back to safety at this point, but this horse is coming through. Full horsepower. Can they finish off the kill? Knockup comes through from Dayu, and he's going to flash over. Oh, not enough. The regen, the heal is not enough there from the fleet footwork to try and get him that life there. And
Yaji!
into
1v1 against the horse, and the dash end of Smite is used to gain a little bit of HP, but the Graves is relentless. He has the movement speed coming in for the Orianna, dashes in with a challenging Smite, going in all into this Hecarim, a killing spree for the Graves. What the hell is happening to PLM? Their jungler is popping off.
Oh man, a 3-0-0 Graves at 4 minutes in the game. That is scary. And he's got to be locked and loaded for the rest of the game at this point. Just needs to capitalize on that lead, but the rest of HAU Blue, Archangels Blue, still unfettered. They're trying to go for those aggressive trades. They're trying to get a lead back into this game, but this Yone is feeling the pain from Tabsu at this point.
And Yone might be in a very dangerous spot. This is less than 100 HP on the mid lane, and we are looking at a Graves hovering on this Yone as well. He has to back off for now. Hecarim is there, but I'm not quite sure if he could respond as quickly as he wants to. This is 100 HP. One tap on the shoulder with that ball could end his life.
And he's really spending a lot of time here, a lot of minions just trying to hover around the wave. I think now he's going to be forced to go back. Luckily for him, Yaji was not yet level 6, no collateral damage to finish him off, but that is going to be conceding control of this break onto PLM. And the Haribons, they are quick on the uptake, aren't they? They know when HAU is vulnerable, they know when HAU is not looking, and they go straight for the objective. 6 minutes in the game, first break, not bad for the newcomers into AcadArena National Campus Open.
And also a 1.4k gold lead for their side as well. Yaji has been playing really well on this Graves, but it takes me back to one conversation that I had with our director, Metanoia, for Esports AcadArena. Remember him? I remember her telling me that one AD carry that she doesn't want to be paired with a Braum is Jhin. And now she has to endure 1 hour of watching Jhin and Braum on one side. But hey, PLM is winning. But still, imagine having 4 of your bullets used up to proc that concussive
Yummy.
Yummy.
Thankfully, once they actually get into team fights, it won't be as bad because they've got other people trying to proc those blows as well. But in the laning phase, yeah, it's pretty safe pig, I'm not gonna lie. But still, the lane is dead even at this point.
Wow.
Yeah, just the roll there to try and dodge deadly flourishes. They do have their own tools to deter each other from trying to take down the other. And this could change now that both junglers are level 6, especially this Hecarim. Could go straight for the onslaught of shadows, could mean a difference in this bot lane, but for now, PLM's other lanes looking very, very strong, especially the jungle here.
This is the advantage of having a jungler that's very ahead against his matchup, because this gives you the opportunity to be more aggressive around the map because your jungler is establishing better control than the enemy jungle, and this could lead to bigger advantages if they play it right. But for now, it hasn't translated to anything else, but looks like something's gonna happen in the mid lane. The Yone ulted. I saw it in the minimap. Please trust me in this. The Yone ulted to go back in his turn.
And that is the risk of playing that Yone. If you play that Soul Unbound, it does give you insurance, but if you get killed before that insurance, you're gonna be forced to use a lot of your tools. Of course, there, Dayu didn't have the flash, had to ult out. That's actually a big expenditure of resources, especially with Rift Herald coming up very, very soon. Of course, Shockwave is also down here for Tabsu, so this is just going to come to which of the top laners supplies more pressure here to give the jungler space to take down this super important objective.
Yeah, and so far, Ocean Drake-wise, lamang naman na ng one Drake ang PLM dito. And the dragon will be spawning quite a few minutes from now. I'm not sure kung anong klaseng dragon siya, hindi ko na daanan pa sa map. But this is actually going to be very, let's say, well-contested dragon dapat from HAU. The Vayne is already level 6, and definitely, that's a Vayne who can fight. Attack speed on Greaves as well.
That is going to be the Xerxes Greaves, giving him the attack speed that he needs, especially on a Drake as well. But it seems like both of these teams have not yet tried to pull the trigger. It seems PLM is preferring the Rift Herald at this point. I think he's already taking it, if not the Scuttle Crab at that point. Since the Drake has not spawned just yet. Yeah, it seems like the Rift Herald was uncontested, taken completely by PLM here, and they have the freedom there to go for a push onto any lane here.
Yeah. And so far, the 3 kills na nakuha na ng Graves, we haven't really seen him translate it to even bigger advantages so far. The CS coming... Oh, wait a minute. That's a teleport burn. No, a flash burn coming in from the Braum, but a 2-man shockwave will be enough. Actually, a 1-man shockwave will be enough to secure that kill as a 4-0 Graves rampages around the mid lane.
Oh man, how Archangels Blue is feeling the pain right now, and this early in the game, when Dayu still doesn't have his Phantom Dance or any other crit item, it's really easy to exploit the weaknesses of the Yone like kit, especially when he's trying to ult. That's just going to meet very, very dangerous play there from Glenn. He does still have his Onslaught of Shadows. Misery is there to try and go for a wild growth, but that is huge HP burned onto that Hecarim. I think he just has to back off, clear some waves, and prep for the Drake.
Yeah. And for the Drake, if ever makakuha ang PLM ng Mountain Drake, that's going to boost Graves even more to the extent that his bonus armor coming in from his E will get even bigger because of this Mountain Drake. But again, this leaves us with the option of either the Cloud Drake or the Infernal Drake to infuse our Summoner's Rift. Bagong beverage na naman, Hyron.
Oh man. Coming out on vending machines near you. Ano yung SRP niyan?
50 lang. Come on.
50
50 lang para naman cheaper than your average boba milk tea. But looks like PLM will be securing this Mountain Drake quite easily, quite uncontested.
That's another Drake.
That's another Drake. But let's see kung ano ang mai-infuse. It's a spicy drink.
Spicy drink. Oh, that's super spicy indeed. And that's coming through PLM now. A hot drink for the burn months, indeed. It is going to be very, very nice there. And both teams, I think both of these teams would, I think any team would appreciate having extra damage stats here. And you can really see Dayu struggling to get the damage in because with the limited time the Soul Unbound gives him, Tabsu can just burst him, slow him down, and leave his threat range at that point. So right now, this Yone is a very big difference from the one we saw earlier.
Oh no, this might be trouble for the Lulu. Deadly Flourish lands, plus the Glacial Fissure lands, and both teleports are going down. This is going to be a 3v3 quite soon, but the Stand United will make it a 4v3. Death Realm is called, and he will be getting the kill. Chowking pulls 3! He's going huge as he goes in for 3 more people, but the damage is just too real from PLM as the immediate turnaround from the Shen, and Yaji will make him unstoppable. PLM getting the upper hand.
Yeah, 4k gold lead here on the Haribons. Plus, this might not be first turn of the game. These plates are going to give them the resistances that they need to try and survive. But this is still 3 gold here for PLM after a very nice play. I think ult goes in, Dayu.
Yeah, and looks like the ultimates are burned. Will there be a kill though? Deadly Flourish will keep him in check, and that's going to be a kill for Tabsu. Another failed attempt coming in from HAU Archangels Blue, and this is looking bad for HAU.
Yeah, Archangels Blue here fumbling a lot. Glenn giving another free kill here, and Dayu not really feeling the damage from this Yone at this point. And this is actually super, super tough. That this kind of composition wants to be able to fight well, wants to be able to survive in the front line. Because if they're behind, like they don't have a true dedicated tank at this point. And if these fighters are behind, that's going to present a problem to Tams here, who has only died once, is still keeping up in CS, but without a solid front line, PLM might just roll over them.
Yeah, and you don't want that, especially if you're coming from a very competitive organization such as a Valiant Esports Club. So this is very pressuring for them going up against PLM, who's technically new in NCO, and this is a big surprise for me. Now I'll remember Yaji is a player to watch out for, especially for PLM.
Yeah, having that awareness of when to strike as a jungler is extremely important here. And it's quite tough here for Archangels Blue. They've just been outmaneuvered every time in terms of the jungles, in terms of the ganks, the dives, everything. And they haven't really had much to show for it other than a few kills here and there, and they've been struggling to get these objectives too. It's really tough so far. What they just need to do is, I don't think they can go for big fights just yet. They need to go for these smaller scale skirmishes and win off of that. Play around their AD carry.
Yeah, a wise man once said, Vayne late game.
Exactly.
Pero literal, that's what they say. In solo queue, you see a Vayne player going 0-1 and 1. Okay pa yan. You reach around 25 minutes and the Vayne's still 0-1-1 pero may Bork na plus maybe a Phantom Dancer or a Ginsu's Rage Blade. Anything that gives attack speed, to be honest, still good. But looks like in the top lane, that's 3 people for PLM. The Death Realm is called. If he doesn't get this in a 1v1, he's gonna wake up to a 3v1. He's gonna get the kill. Chowking, though, will immediately get erased by that shockwave after that 1-for-1 trade in the top lane.
This is going to signal, oh, the Drake unfortunately has not yet spawned for HAU. Meanwhile, on the top side, PLM get another Rift Herald as the rest of HAU trying to make something happen in his bot lane, but PLM's already seeing the writing on the wall. Let's give up this outer turret. We don't want to give them any kills at this point in the game. Let them have their fun with the turret. Let's get the Herald. Let's get satisfied with the kill that we got topside.
Yeah. And so far, we are 16 minutes inside this game, and we are looking at a 5k gold lead built by PLM, especially by their jungler Yaji. A very good jungler so far. Still no deaths in this game. 5-0-3, securing the Rift Herald and 2 Drakes for the side of PLM. And for HAU, if one thing's working for them, their Vayne is still not significantly behind.
Mm-hmm. And they just have to bank around that. But like I said earlier, the biggest problem here is that the Vayne doesn't have, like, he has an Tamsir has an enchanter support, but he doesn't really have a super solid frontline that can weather the storm here against Yaji and Pox. And like I said, that presents a big problem in the survivability and maneuverability of this Vayne late game. Just doesn't have that insurance that his frontline will hold long enough for him to deal his damage. But we're gonna have to see. Maybe with the help of Misery, he'll be able to pull through later. But for now, PLM, they're gonna be fighting over this Infernal Break. Spice up this game a little bit with some heat. And we're gonna have to see if HAU will recover from the earlier blunder. 6k gold behind.
Oh, that's actually a very aggressive maneuver coming in from Glenn. That triggers the curtain call for zoning it out, and Misery is taking quite a bit of damage coming in. 2 more bullets from this Jhin. Haven't really called it out just yet. Stand United is there to pick up the Death Realm actually used on Ein over here. That's a 2v2 in the backside. The PLM will get a first kill on the Hecarim. No jungler is down already. Both junglers are down, and the shutdown will go to the Orianna. The Vayne picking up 1 kill for her. That's a 3v3 so far, but the HPs are low coming in from HAU. The
Wait, what?
What the hell? You just gave yourself back to PLM. What a bra moment, and that actually adjusts the call for PLM to get the Infernal Drake instead.
Still though, we saw there one mistake from PLM. They didn't decide in time if they wanted to push through with the Infernal Drake, which is the squishiest Drake in the game, or if they wanted to turn. That crucial mistake there gave HAU the opportunity to dive deep with the Onslaught of Shadows, with the Sealed Fate, and wait, no, that's a Hearthstone card. That's a Hearthstone card.
You even allowed to say that?
Yeah, but it is Fate Sealed there from Dayu. But yeah, that crucial mistake there by PLM gave HAU a small opening, but in the end, it's still even, and the Infernal Drake still went to the Haribons.
Yeah, and not only that, what could have been a great flash to save his life for Chowking was a misclick to end it all. That Bastion. If Chowking, if this is Chowking's debut game, this is a memory that he will always come back to. That's for sure. But not the best of memories. Maybe something to inspire him to do better next time. But for now, something to laugh about later on in your career. But looks like a fight will break out here, Hiron.
Uh-oh. It's going to be really tough here. They will even out the scales with the Death Realm. Chowking with a big shield here. Gets the kill onto Tabsu. Dio is here just in time to try and get a kill. He does take out Hawks at this point. The shutdown goes to Dio. That is huge on the struggling Yone. 2 kills now and a shutdown gold on top of that means that this might be a big recovery for the solo laners of Archangels Blue.
I have to agree with you over there. 4K, less than 4K, or roughly 4K gold lead for the side of PLM. Nabawasan na yan. Kanina, papunta na tayo ng 6K. Ngayon, 4K na lang. And this is huge because not only did you give the Vayne one shutdown kill towards the Orianna from the earlier fight, but now you gave another kill na may shutdown bounty to the Yone. And that's huge because you're giving struggling laners, as you said, gold that they need to pick up their first core item and maybe something more. We're looking at their inventories right now. You have the Bork, you have the PD, and now you have 2 pickaxes as well. That small damage boost could mean the difference between life or death.
That's such a strange Rift Herald as well from PLM. Of course, I think the duration was about to expire, but the fact that they didn't use it earlier, maybe to achieve some more pressure while Drake was being called, I think that would have been such a great thing to do to stack the odds in their favor. And here it just gets wasted. Glenn just clearly, or actually no, Chowking just clearly takes out that Rift Herald. So it seems like PLM, they have a very strong early game here, but when it comes to making decisions in the mid game, it seems like they start to falter. Of course, they're still very much ahead. It's just a matter of will they be able to maintain that lead with how their solo laners are back in the game. They've got kills under their belt. They have the gold to spend. What's next here for Archangels Blue?
For Archangels Blue, that's for sure they have one more tall task to do. Deny the next dragon to the side of PLM. You can't give that Infernal Drake and expect to win the game. You need to make sure that the next Drake will be contested. Alam mo yung hindi lang matuloy. Because PLM for sure gigil na yan to get the next Infernal Drake. But for them, for HAU, they need to make sure that that doesn't happen. Because if you give the Infernal Soul to PLM, you could imagine that even the slightest touch from a Deadly Flourish would burst you out. That's how big the damage coming in from Infernal Drake is.
Yeah. And not only that, they have to worry about the Baron as well. So these 2 objectives are going to be so vital to how this game goes. And Archangels Blue, they have such a tall task ahead of them. Try and deny not only the soul but also the Baron. And at this point, yes, this Vayne has the Bork, has been farming himself up, but I don't think it's at that point where they can. Since Infernal Drake is very squishy, I don't think they can trade Infernal Drake for Baron unless they maneuver it very well and set up the waves.
Yeah, and surprisingly, HAU hasn't sent anyone in the bottom lane, and this will give Shen the opportunity to buy priority in this bottom lane before the dragon spawns. And this is very important. Why? Because priority gives you more control over the map during the dance or the dragon, or maybe the fight for the dragon. And having this Shen push early in this bottom side is really good for PLM. Around 40 seconds or less, the dragon will be spawning soon. And I feel like at around, nagpiping na yung HAU. They need to push that or even out the creep wave. But that gives PLM enough time to position well around that area.
Yeah, vision is kind of light for PLM in this Infernal Drake pit. HAU has had better preparation in terms of vision here, but it's still sparse in the area surrounding it. They do have a ward here behind this red buff brush, and they will have a little bit of intel at this point. PLM popping the red scanners to try and take them out, retake control over this area. HAU, though, this is a very precarious position here. Dayu is running it down mid, trying to contest the waves against Tapsu, but HAU needs to be the one to be the aggressors here, because that's what their comp is made for. Dayu, oh man.
Oh yeah, but the fight will break out here in the dragon area, as looks like Glenn will be popping that stopwatch. The Vayne in the backside though, buying a lot of time with this Shen, and looks like the first kill will be towards the Hecarim, but the Braum is already down. The Vayne is going wild, but the Deadly Flourish won't finish him off. A double kill for this Vayne, but he won't be surviving as the shotgun will pick him one. A double kill for this Orianna, as the Yone will not survive. The Soul Unbound, a triple kill for the Orianna as PLM secures the ace and secures the soul.
Infernal Soul here for PLM means that their bursty bursty setups are going to get even burstier. And HAU there, that was a pretty lukewarm onslaught of shadows from Glenn, and it wasn't super impactful. Of course, Tams was able to pick up the pace, get a few kills in the early phases of that fight. But the cavalry arrives here for PLM from downtown, from behind. Tabsu bursts down that vein. Key kill there for PLM, and they clean it up and get the Infernal Soul. That is huge there, and Tams did not see it coming.
Yeah, and now that you have the Infernal Soul on the side of PLM, the Haribons could easily burst down your vein. Your vein doesn't have any defensive items. The only defensive item, or not even an item, the only defense that she has is, for one, the invisibility, but and the shields coming in from Lulu. But that won't be enough to save your life, especially if you have 3 big damage dealers for the side of PLM. You told so earlier, Hyron, the Orianna, you won't expect a lot of damage from her unless she's fed.
And this
but
7-3 and 6. 7-3 and 6, 216 CS at 25 minutes. That's pretty decently fed. And against the Vayne with no survivability, and actually he's picking up right now a Null Magic Mantle to build in some more mag res as well. But PLM's already pulling the trigger onto the Baron. Let's see. Shockwave comes through. A kill onto Misery.
Oh no, that's Misery already down. No defense for this Vayne as Exos buys time for this Vayne. Actually, wala pang ang ulti pero meron na pala. That's an invisibility pop. A kill on Tams, but looks like the Deathworm will get the Graves. He will be surviving just for a minute, but HAU in a miraculous turn of events gets 3 kills for 1.
Yeah, that's really what they needed to get there. A good fight. And here, PLM's damage was dispersed quite well. They initially take out a member of PLM and just work their way from there. If PLM's damage was much more focused in that fight, they could have gotten Tams or one member of HAU there, but it seems like Dayu is at this point getting the kills that he needs, assists that he needs, and Baron goes to HAU, and this pretty much nullifies a big chunk of the gold lead here for PLM. They still have Infernal Soul, though. They still have the stacks of the rest of these breaks, but HAU is buying themselves a little bit of time to make sure that Tams gets even more fed.
Yeah, and right now, defensive item-wise, meron na yung Vayne. He has that QSS already, which will be a crucial item to have, especially if the Braum lands any sort of CC to your face, or even the Orianna slow, or actually any kind of CC. Because at this point, that you are a 2-item Vayne with tons of attack speed, you are a big threat to PLM's win condition, and they will target you. Having that QSS at this point of the game is a big luxury to have for HAU, and now all depends on Tams. Mystery died earlier, but they burnt a flash and a shockwave for that. And it wasn't worth it for PLM. Not only did they lose a lot of people in that fight, they also lost the Baron. And now, Infernal Drake versus Baron buff. Baron buff is still most likely has higher value.
Right now, but the thing is that the Infernal Soul is not temporary. But here's the thing. Here's the Morden's fork here for PLM. Both situations are pretty bad. If you try and face out against the Baron, you're probably going to get run over by the Baron minions on another lane you're not paying attention to. But if you wait for the Baron buff to expire, you're giving the Vayne time here. I think Chowking here just straight up dies.
Yeah, but
Deathworm
is called Infernal Drake.
One here on the top. No, that's a lot of damage from that Orianna. But
plus, there's grievous wounds as well from the Morello, so he really couldn't pop that shield back to hell. So too bad for him. Caught off guard, a little bit too aggressive with that Baron buff in the bottom lane.
But this does alleviate the concern a little bit. Oh yeah, you're gonna fight it out with this Yone. A lot of shields here coming in from Stand United, but the Unbound Soul there is going to save his life now. But yeah, right now PLM just has to bite the bullet, wait for the Baron buff to expire, maybe exploit any overextensions like with Chowking there. But the problem with that is if you let it time out, that's like what? The rest of the duration for the Baron for Tams to farm it up. Even if they don't get a huge power push from that Baron, it's still feeding into this scary Vayne late game.
Yeah. Ito na yung sinasabi natin kanina, Vayne late game, 25 minutes plus. This is very good for HAU right now. The power spike is already kicking in for their AD carry, and not only that, the Yone as well, about to build his Death's Dance paired with 2 crit items, which gives him 100% critical strike, considering that they do share the same passive as his brother,
Mhm.
Yasuo, and this is very important for the side of HAU. Gold lead is almost non-existent in the late game right now. 3k gold lead for the side of PLM, plus the Infernal Drake, Baron buff already out, and this looks to be the next big thing to happen in this map. Elder Drake about to spawn.
Ooh, that is the contention here in PLM. They're doing a forward scouting. They're putting down vision past their territories into enemy lines here. How comes? What the heck? That is ballsy going through with it. He exhausts his opponent right there. Yaji is going to take down Misery though, and in the backside, that is going to be Yaji running away from this force. Glenn is going to get pulled back by the shockwave. This Yone though, dealing a lot of damage. Tams is super low on health, but can he tumble around and he get a shot down? Oh, that is going to be the wall onto this Vayne. He's going to get shut down by Tabsu. The knockup coming in from the Yone is not enough. Can Chowking fight out of 1v3? He cannot. And PLM is able to pick up Elder Drake for this 30-minute game.
What is it with HAU and Blast Cones in this game? My Jesus! Stop using Blast Cones! HAU Blue! Earlier, Chowking with the Blast Cone gave his life back to PLM, and now Vayne with his very own Blast Cone moment, giving the Infernal, no, the Elder Drake to PLM. This is looking bad for them. What a bra moment, man. Blast Cones, for real.
Is this counted in a vein spotting point? Is this a vein spotting point? I think it's a vein spotting point here for Tams. And that is that's not like a small blunder that we can just laugh off. That is huge. That's not like what was that? That's an ace plus Elder, and that puts the gold lead back to 6k plus all the Drake stacks plus everything else. PLM is just poised to finish off this game. They just need to maybe set up for this Baron a minute. They can even just force their way topside.
They can literally just destroy anyone. Curtain is called, and this looks to be a very dangerous spot for the Vayne. Ulti is not yet available, but a Shockwave will finish him off. That's going to be a killing spree for the Orianna. A lot of ultimates burnt for PLM though, but that will give them more than enough time to set up for the Baron, as Chowking will be leading the 1v1 against Yaji, but Infernal Drake spits his life out of him, and this is looking to be PLM winning this top lane fight.
And this could be inhibitor all the way. 40-second death timers here for Chowking, 20 on Tams. I think they might just get this inner turret or this inhibitor turret. Maybe get the inhibitor and then go straight to Baron at that point. Because they can easily do that.
Can they end?
Can they end? 20 seconds on Chowking, 8 on Tams. They are huge right now. 2 marksmen tearing down these turrets. HAU is going to go for a last stand though. Soul Unbound is going to put him back. That might not be what they want. Another shockwave comes through. Dayu is going to try and get through, but the Nexus still gets destroyed. And PLM, we expected HAU to be very strong like their main team, but it seems like the Haribons are stronger in this game 1.
Yeah, and kudos to Haribons for capitalizing on early game strengths and getting those early kills, but I just have to say that it's not entirely that. It's more of HAU's
What's happening? It's like
Blast Cones. Man,
yeah,
Blast
and that was crucial. That was crucial. Both Blast Cone mistakes were crucial. First, Mordekaiser here, Chowking giving a kill. That just signals, okay, we can do Drake, no problem. Which leads into them getting Soul. It's like a butterfly effect, right? It leads to them getting Soul. And Tams, he's like the bastion of hope for his team. He blast cones himself on a silver platter. That's a vein spotting like 100 points for that game. That's Elder. That was Elder. Huge mistake.
Yeah, but no pressure on HAU Blue. We are quite aware that these are your first games as rookies as well. These happen. These things happen. Pressure is real. You are a sister team to a very well-oriented, very competitive team. I bet it
as well. Yeah.
Kumbaga parang nagsisip in sa mental nila yon, but we do hope that you come back stronger. But for PLM, congratulations for getting your first win in Group C, the group of death, where
Oh my.
nandito din ang Teletigers, Recticanos, that has a mid laner that played for Steel Wolves Gaia, and then now Exos, Haribons, and Archangels Blue. Really, Group C is the group to watch for
Mhm.
now. But Exos, Haribons, congratulations for getting your win, 1-0 now in this group, and for Archangels Blue, 0-1. Any last comments before we proceed to the next game?
It was definitely sloppy, right? Like Archangel's blue mistakes are way more apparent, but Exos Haribons had a lot of questionable plays come mid game. Very strong early game, but when they came to decision making in terms of like Drake calls and whatnot, they did get all the Drakes, but they were very they weren't as clean as they would have wanted. So both of these teams need to brush up on that decision making as well. But a lot of potential. I see a lot of potential here for both teams.
Yeah, I do have to agree with you over here. Archangels Blue really almost won that competition if not for that one blast goal mistake. But of course, mistakes do happen, and it will only forge you to become better players in the future. So we hope that you come back strong, Archangels Blue. But for now, let's ascend Haribons. Congratulations to Exos Haribons for winning the game. But let's check the studio really quickly kung may nanalo ba sa ating
Yep, we got a
giveaway
winner.
for the chat rally for now. Again, congratulations to Ramuel Celibio. Ramuel Celibio, congratulations for winning 300 PHP worth of RP. And make sure to contact or check your inbox for AcadArena. We might be contacting you soon for you to claim your rewards. But for now, this has been game 3 of today's stream between Exos, Haribons, and Archangels Blue. My name is Uomi at kasama ko dito si Hyron, and we will be going back after a quick break.